Have you wondered what a spirit baby is and how yours might be trying to connect with you? If you find yourself brimming with curiosity and openness, then today's episode is for you, and one that many of you have been waiting for. We're diving into Spirit Baby Communication 101, how to recognize real signs, what these little souls' connection feels like, and how to know when your spirit baby is preparing to come through. So get cozy, press play, and let's channel some womb wisdom, because your spirit baby has been patiently waiting for you to tune in. Welcome to Fertile Frequencies Radio, the podcast that's here to revolutionize your fertility journey by going beyond hormones and cycle tracking. We combine science, spirit, and mindset to help you finally achieve success. If you're done with the same old fertility advice, you've come to the right place. This is where we celebrate every fertile win and empower you to view your fertility as so much more than just your physical body. Get ready for powerful stories, expert insights, and interviews, and endless amounts of encouragement to uplift and inspire you every step of the way. Welcome back to Fertile Frequencies Radio. I am Lindsay, and for those of you that might be new to Fertile Frequencies Radio, I am your fertility expert as well as your spirit baby medium, and I specialize in helping you connect science and spirit on your fertility journey and really giving you that holistic, well-balanced approach that you really need for your journey. Today, we are going to be talking about spirit babies and Spirit Baby Communication 101, and it's going to be really exciting. So let's go ahead and get started. And really, I think a lot of people often want to know what a spirit baby is. And essentially what it is it is the unborn soul, your baby's soul. And before they incarnate in, they are in the spirit world, just like you are in the spirit world before you actually came into your physical body. They will actually communicate with us before they actually are coming into the physical reality. And oftentimes they'll actually be giving you messages about how to actually get them here into the physical world. So as a spirit baby medium, I am able to get those messages. I'm an energetic channel, a born intuitive medium, later trained with a spirit baby medium, learning how to actually channel and use that energy. Your baby can really be communicating with you through signs, emotions, and any sort of inner shift that might be happening. And so this episode is going to really help you to understand how that's unfolding. So let's talk about Spirit Baby Communication. Spirit Baby Communication is a soul-to-soul dialogue that begins long before conception. I can't tell you how many of my clients have had communication with their baby, even have spoken about it before they actually were trying to get pregnant. So this could have been something that had happened many years before they actually were trying to get pregnant, which is really interesting. And your babies choose you. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And some of this is very much in your soul contract. Now, what a soul contract is really what you decide that you want in your physical reality, in your human journey before you actually incarnate into the physical body. And so some of these little souls, or we're all little souls or big souls or whatever you want to say, actually will contract with you to say, I will be your baby at this particular time when you decide that you want to be a mother or father, a parent. And sometimes that's not always the case, that they will actually, you won't always know who's going to be your baby, that they'll actually raise their hand and say, I want to go and I want to be her child or his child or their child. And so it's not always concrete before you come into this physical reality, but most of the time it at least is contracted in that you are going to be a parent. And there are those situations when you might not really know for sure if you're going to do it, and it's okay if you don't, and it's perfectly okay if you do, okay? So not everyone has it sharpied in, I call it. Some of us have it penciled in that it could possibly happen. And if it doesn't, it doesn't, and it's okay. Your future child's soul is often connecting with you through your heart, your energy, and life And this is happening before they even arrive. And this communication may show up in emotionally, physically, intuitively, or even in some of these everyday signs that I'm going to talk about. And I got to tell you, this is not your imagination. This is resonance, okay? And it's your energy preparing for their union. So, some of the most common real signs that we will actually see with spirit babies, I'm not going to talk about them all, but I am going to talk about some of them, will be dream visitations. So, dreams of your baby, pregnancy, or holding your child, which feels so familiar, okay? Also, I'm going to add that often women can have dreams, or even fathers, of water. That's a lot of times how I know that someone will actually be pregnant or very close to being pregnant, is dreaming of water. Okay. Babies will send you messages about food or different things in your dreams about what might need to happen or question you might need to ask your doctor. And they're not always literal, because remembering that things are filtering through the subconscious mind. And when things hit the conscious and the subconscious mind from the spirit world, it can really seem strange. Okay. So, someone like myself, I decode dreams, and I'm really able to help you understand what some of those meanings of those dreams are. And it really is telling a story. And I absolutely love doing that. It's a lot of fun to decode dreams. So, also, synchronicities. Nothing is ever a coincidence. Get that word completely out of your vocabulary, because it's not real. It's not real. Everything is synchronistic in that it is all coming together to create what I call masterpiece. So, some of these synchronicities, I'm just going to name a few here: repeating numbers like 1111, 144, 222. 144, it's one of my favorites. It adds up to number 9, because you take the 4 plus 4, you get 8, and then add 1 to it, and you get 9. In numerology, we always condense it down to a single digit, unless it is a master number like an 11, 22, 33, or 44. If we're talking about numerology, those are the master numbers: 11, 22, 33, and 44. Gave you a little extra information there, which is very typical of me to digress. But you might be seeing things like that. I'm also going to add 333 or 33. 3 is the number of the feminine energy. And so there could be a lot of ways that you could be getting these synchronicities, as well as baby names might be appearing. You might be seeing the name over and over again, or maybe you're not familiar. You thought you were going to name your baby one name, and then it comes up as something different, and you're just seeing the same name everywhere. And I have to tell you that we choose our names. We choose when we're going to be born. We choose all of this. So definitely make sure that you're paying attention to these signs, because these are signs from your baby, as well as timely conversations or reminders. You might be getting other things that relate to your relationship, maybe connecting with your partner more. That's a very common message that I get in spirit baby readings, as well as womb sensations or heart surges. You might get warmth, fluttering, or an emotional wave out of nowhere. And you could get a sudden desire to prepare or heal and create space. I guess this could be considered nesting. And you might feel pulled to clean, shift your lifestyle, or emotionally upgrade. I have to say that I often recommend that my clients make sure that the baby's room is ready to go. Okay. That a lot of times the baby's room will end up being an office or a guest room, or, you want to make sure that that baby's room is ready to go. So if you know where your baby's room is going to be, clean it out, get it ready, because your baby wants you to be ready for them to come in. So do everything that you can to fully prepare and be ready for them, and to energetically send the message, your room is ready. I'm ready for you. Okay. This is one thing that you can do. And I don't want you to be tied to the expectation that just because you clean out the room, that means you're going to get pregnant that cycle. Please remember something, okay, about anything about the universe is that we have to be open and receptive to the divine timing of when something is manifesting for us. Now, if we're so tied to exactly when and how it's going to look, That's the human. That's the A-type personality. That is exactly what is not going to work. If you've been struggling with infertility, fertility obstacles for a while, because the universe wants you to learn how to trust and let go of the exact outcome or what the details are going to look like. The only thing that's your job is to be open and receptive to this actually coming into your physical reality. Okay. So that can be hard to do when you want something so bad. I totally, totally get it. But it's the way that you do it. Okay. And manifestation, manifesting is anything you want into your life, including better health, balanced hormones, a better relationship, a job, a baby, anything. It's all manifestation because it's coming into your reality. I am not saying that there is no need for hormone testing or there's no need for a good diet, a proper nutritional diet for fertility, or that IVF is not needed if that's your particular situation. I am not saying that by any means. It's an integration of a lot of things happening. But what I will tell you is that the number one way to have something go in the direction that you want, it starts with your energy. Okay. I'm not saying that there's no physical medical diagnosis happening. Absolutely. I'm not going to say that. I am an integrative medicine provider. I'm also an intuitive medium, born that way. So it took me many years to be able to feel fully comfortable in that because so many people think, well, how do those integrate? Well, they integrate because everything begins with energy. We have to remember that everything with science started as a thought. Well, where do thoughts come from? They're coming from the universal intelligence, okay? Those are downloads that you're getting. So every scientist, every doctor, IVF, it started as a thought and it was able to be proven. So remember that everything boils down to energy. And we can integrate the science with the energy because science started as energy. Okay. So I'm not going to digress too much on that because we can go way down the rabbit hole on that. But some other things that you might want to look out for is hearing their energy or feeling their presence. Now, something that's really important to remember, you might hear things, it might be auditory, but it's also important to remember that it's hearing with your heart. It's listening with your heart. It's listening with your intuition. Okay. It's really tuning into that. Okay. So it might be a whisper or a thought that doesn't feel like yours. That's the coolest thing. Or it could be a soft, I am here sort of sensation. Really tuning in. I think getting to know and use your physical body as a vessel to be able to receive these intuitive messages is the key to most things. Okay. I always say this, your body is the messenger from the soul, your higher self, your baby. So please trust your body. Trust how your body feels. I did an episode a few episodes ago about medical intuition and how that ties in to fertility and trusting your body. Go back and listen to that episode. It's really good if you wanted to learn more about that. So, if any of these have happened, it's often a sign of readiness and connection beginning to open. The more that you're trusting yourself and your body, the more that it's a sign that you are feeling more comfortable with opening. Okay. And also, why do spirit babies come before conception? Great question. That's a good one. Yeah. Your spirit baby doesn't want to come to test you. They're not coming in to test you. Okay? They want to prepare you. I kind of like to stay away from the whole testing you thing. Okay? Like, what if it's more about just being prepared? What if it's more about evolving and discovering yourself in this journey and preparing for the amazingness of what your child is, the vibrancy, the energy, the brilliance of who they are? Because the kids coming in now, I talk a lot about this, about the New Earth kids, that they're very advanced, that they understand so much about higher intelligence that a lot of the generations here now don't quite understand. They're coming in as teachers. Okay. So we have to be in the energy alignment to be able to understand, at least on some level, of what sort of vibrancy and brilliance they are. You're brilliant too. I don't want to ever say that just because the people that are here on the earth now that they're not absolutely brilliant as well. Well, I think we can all say that not everyone has the same understanding, but I love everybody, I must say. It doesn't mean that everyone's going to understand the higher vibrational stuff. But you listening to this podcast, you do, or at least you're curious about it, because if you weren't, you wouldn't be here. Okay. So you're led to this and my frequency because you resonate with it. Okay. So we don't have to talk about the people that don't get it. We still love them though. Everything is love and we're all connected. But what I'm saying is these new earth kids, they have a higher understanding. They're here to come as teachers. And our generations, I'm a star seed. I'll talk about that another time, but I was encoded and most likely you are something along that lines as well if you're listening to this. Again, you're connecting with me for way more than just your fertility. I will tell you that. I know that. That special souls come as teachers, and that's what your child is doing. Okay? So, as teachers, just different teaching than our generations. Our generations were more about the trauma. Their generations are not. They're more about teaching about the universal intelligence. Things like AI. Not everyone likes AI, but that's the way that things are going, okay? Like technology, teaching higher intelligence. And so if as parents, we're in a place of still working on the trauma. I call it the lower chakra work. If you're familiar with the chakras, the energy centers. Okay. So that would be the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root chakra. That if we're still working on those lower chakra trauma work, we're not going to be in a place to understand these new earth kids that are way up here in their intelligence, okay? Like into the higher mind, okay? So it's important for us to be able to meet them. When I'm doing an intuitive reading, I raise my frequency so that I can meet spirit because spirit's very high vibrational. And so we're doing the same thing with our children. We have to meet them at a place that we can understand them enough to be their parents. Okay. So maybe that helps you. I hope it does because that's a huge part of my message and being a spirit baby medium is helping you to understand that you're not doing anything wrong. It's just about getting your frequency to a place. That's why this podcast is called Fertile Frequencies, of getting your frequency to a place that you are going to be able to meet your child energetically to understand what they're here for, at least on some level. Okay. That's it. That's it. And as well as your body too, because carrying a baby that has this high frequency and this big job of being this teacher, your body has to be prepared for that, to hold that, be that sort of container for this big vibrancy of energy. Okay. So, and we already know that kids are a big vibrancy of energy anyway, okay? Let's face it. But I'm talking about this higher level of consciousness, okay? It's even higher. I'm not saying your kid's going to be a crazy, rambunctious child. Some of them are. Yes, of course. Some of that's genetic too, as well as epigenetics. But a lot of these kids are probably pretty grounded, and maybe very introverted, but they might be extroverted too. Maybe a mix of both. Again, it depends. There's a lot of things that go into this, but the vibrancy of that, they just know a lot of stuff. Okay. So why would the spirit babies be doing this? Why would your spirit baby be doing this to prepare you? Because it's really about their purpose, like I said, guiding you into the right kind of alignment, not only for yourself, but also being their parent, as well as encouraging emotional and ancestral healing. Remember what I said about the lower chakra work. Also strengthening your relationship with yourself and your partner, helping you to shift into a version of you that is really giving you the opportunity to be able to hold who they are. Okay. So again, it's that container, not only during pregnancy, but being a parent. This is a lifelong job, right? You're a parent forever. It's not just till they're 18 years old. So this phase is about energetic preparation and not about pressure. Also, think of it as the heart and the soul nesting period. And really, how are you going to deepen this connection with your spirit baby? Well, a good way is building a spirit baby altar. And it's just bringing together some of your favorite items, putting them in an altar, place of a sacred space where you can meditate. And also, if you're feeling the presence of your spirit baby and you want to connect, the altar is great. But here are some 3 gentle ways that you can connect with them. You want to create stillness daily, even 2 minutes of quiet openness to be able to channel to receive. Okay. Journal to your spirit baby. You want to ask questions. Ask them, baby, what do you need? What do you need me to do? You want to share your feelings of how you're feeling. Allow yourself to bring it out, to ask questions. But what are you feeling? Don't harbor that stuff inside. It goes right into your womb space as well as your heart center and your throat, which all are so important for the fertility success. Okay, so you don't want to hold on to these emotions. Get that out. Let that out. Channel that stuff out. You want to write this stuff down. You want to strengthen your trust, remembering that trust is a muscle. Just like if you go to the gym and you're building those big biceps, okay? Your intuition is a muscle. So don't analyze every sign. That's something I learned very early on when I was communicating with spirit. Early on, after my spiritual awakening, I was born this way, but I didn't know what to do with it. Okay. After my spiritual awakening is when I started to learn how to use, I don't like the word gift, abilities. We're all gifted. My abilities to be able to trust my intuition, to trust the universe. Okay. And it's a muscle. You're building that big muscle. So yeah, don't analyze every sign. That's why I started talking about that, because I used to do that and it can create anxiety. Don't analyze everything. And a loving reminder, if you haven't felt these signs, that doesn't mean that your spirit baby isn't there. They're there. It's just being able to tune in enough to be able to hear them. That's why you're here. That's why this podcast is here, is to give you the tools to be able to tune in, to trust and let the walls down so that you can start receiving the messages. So, if this episode really stirred something in you and remembering a softness and knowing, and you feel ready to truly listen to your spirit baby's message, like I said, I'd be honored to help you hold space in that. You can book a one-on-one reading with me if this resonates. I right now until Sunday am offering a special on my readings where you can save $144 if you are listening to this episode before October 26th. That special rate of getting $144 off your reading. So make sure that you're staying tuned in. So you can find all this stuff in the show notes, link it all in the show notes, as well as I want to thank you for joining me today with an open heart for this Spirit Baby Communication 101 episode here at Fertile Frequencies Radio. And also, your Spirit Baby, like I said, has chosen you for a reason. So do not forget that. And I always state this: if it wasn't meant for you, then you wouldn't desire it. Anything that your wonderful imagination can cook up, as well as just thinking of desire, that means that there's a version of you that already has it. Okay. So remember that you are an infinite creator. Your body knows exactly what to do in your fertility journey. It's just about getting to that version of you that has your baby. Okay. And it's being patient in that. And I know that that can be hard. And I hold so much space for you in that. because it can be so difficult when you've been trying for so long and it just isn't happening. So I want you to know that it's not happening. It just is happening in the time frame that's meant for you as well as your baby and your partner. So please be patient with yourself. I promise you it's happening. There's very few people that are not meant to have children. If you want to have children, there is a spirit baby there that is ready to come into your experience. So be open and receptive to the infinite possibilities of how that could look. So until next time, I'm sending you so much love and alignment, and I'm here every step of the way for you and here to help you manifest your baby miracle. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope this episode brought you comfort, clarity, or that little spark of I'm not alone. Your spirit baby chose you for a reason, and they are guiding you with so much love. If this episode resonated, please take a moment to follow this podcast, leave a review, and share it with another woman who needs this kind of nurturing support. It helps us continue to keep creating these episodes and keeps Fertile Frequencies Radio growing and accessible to women and couples who need this healing the most. And if you're feeling the pull to connect more deeply with your spirit baby, or you've been experiencing signs and want personal guidance, check the show notes to book a spirit baby reading with me. And now, you absolutely do not want to miss my next episode. Next week, I will be joined by the wonderful Carrie Hines, founder of Fringe Fertility. And we're diving into IVF, fertility yoga, and how movement and nervous system connection can transform your fertility path. Whether you're preparing for IVF, on the TTC journey, or supporting your body through stress and uncertainty, this conversation is pure nourishment. And trust me, you'll want to hit follow now because you don't want to miss it. And until next time, may you feel supported, guided, and held every step of the way. I'm sending you so much love always, alignment, and the frequency for your miracle.